Hey everyone, welcome back to the Black and White Football Podcast, episode 18. We're getting into some very exciting times with the Super Bowl right around the corner. I'm, of course, Josh, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're just excited to hop into these topics and get talking with you. It's, I guess, kind of a weird week because we don't have football next week because the Pro Bowl isn't happening.
Yeah, sad face.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a virtual thing or something. I haven't really looked into it.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think, like, they're doing something on Madden, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, they have some, like, Madden stuff, I think, which could be kind of fun to watch. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how interesting they can make it. I don't know. It'll
Hopefully
probably be
our
weird.
players represent well.
Yeah, I hope so. But last week, we had some pretty good games. We had, the Packers, they kind of just choked hard against the Bucs. And the Bills, they didn't do a whole lot against the Chiefs. But despite the unfortunate losses from these teams, there were some really great players and some great stat lines. There were some spicy hot players, if you will. So, do you have a super spicy hot player of the week?
Oh, I do.
All right, who is it?
See, I figure this would be the last actual game before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so I had to just shout out the boy once more, Travis Kelce, because he killed it. 13 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he made such a huge difference. And, I mean, Travis Kelce is really, really going to be, when everything's said and done, arguably the best tight end of all time. I mean, he really could pass Gronk. He's had, like, Travis Kelce's numbers, you know, he's only had 2 seasons where he didn't have 1,000 yards in his career. And the 2 seasons were 800 and 900-yard career games. I mean, he's has an insane body of work. And it's only going to be the same because Patrick Mahomes.
It's going to get better, yeah.
So, I mean, as Patrick Mahomes gets better, you know, Travis Kelce could get more targets. You know, Travis Kelce's not getting any younger, but still, Travis Kelce is totally deserved of the super spicy hot player of the week for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to do a lateral move and hop right over to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
9 receptions, 172 yards, and that's on top of Travis Kelce. So that's crazy. I mean, he just balled out when they needed him. Tyreek Hill he turned into, I feel like last year he was great, but he was a bit streaky. This year he's just an elite. Like he made that jump to, like, he's a pure, like, elite receiver. Like dude is just nuts on the football field. So, yeah, I mean, really, you could give it to him this week. You could give it to him all year. 9 receptions, 172 yards. He's just one of the most reliable options for Patrick Mahomes and just in football in general.
Yeah.
Just receivers, yeah. Yes, I guess we can just hop right into the Chiefs and Bills and talk about that one. Josh Allen, he kind of disappointed a bit. He didn't do much. It looked like the Bills were off to a good start at first. They were up 9-0. They missed the extra point, but I was like, all right, this might be, like, something, but they really didn't do much after that until, like, the second half.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they all just fired on all cylinders. They were just going, and they looked unstoppable, and it's just insane how consistently good they are, especially in the playoffs. So this is, Patrick Mahomes' second Super Bowl in a row. And yeah, they just look dominant. They look like they're gonna be tough to beat. That Bucs defense is gonna have their work cut out for them.
The game was once again very underwhelming for Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, they've come out underwhelming in 2 of their 3 playoff games. Unfortunately, they just met a better team this week, but the Bills, we've been saying every single week that we've covered them, is the biggest problem with the Bills is in the offseason and in general, they have to get a run game.
Yeah, they have no run game.
And when Josh Allen is the only player on your team that actually runs, and it's every single week basically, he leads the team in rushing yards. Yeah. I mean, it's just not the best thing for your team. It's not 100% winning, and they don't have a rush game past that. So if the Bills can improve their rush game next year, I think the Bills will still be just in the same exact position, maybe even going to the Super Bowl next year. We'll see.
Yeah. They'd definitely be more of a force if they have that attack, because that would open up the passing game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you saw against, like, the Ravens, they ran 20 passing plays in a row without a single rush. So it's like they really just do not have any faith in their rush game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like, probably their biggest hole, at least. I mean, they just got to figure that out. And then, I mean, I agree with you. I think they're Super Bowl contenders if they can figure that out. Because then in the playoffs, they're going to do better.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, I mean, right now they're just kind of one-dimensional.
And Kansas City they just continue to show us that they're just the best team. I don't know if... I'm not sure whether or not they'll be able to be as dominant once they lose some pieces, because we know they're going to lose pieces in the offseason, and every single player that's on their team isn't going to take a hometown discount just to win Super Bowls with them every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not a realistic expectation.
Yeah.
So, eventually Kansas City's defense will get worse and their offense will get worse, for sure. And we'll have to see if Patrick Mahomes is going to be as elite with lower weapons, which I would expect he would be. Mm-hmm. But we just have to see that. So next year will be good. But, Kansas City just this year they played so well at 14-2. I mean, really, they were kind of 14-1 because the last game Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce didn't play or anything. So they didn't really have anybody in. But so Kansas City goes in super hot, and don't know. I'm not sure if I think that they'll definitely win the Super Bowl. But with that being said, we'll actually go right into the Bucs-Packers game, just because we're talking about Super Bowl implications and what a game Tampa and Green Bay had. I mean, really, Tampa looked like they were going to just blow the socks off of Green Bay. Especially, it really did. I mean, in the first half and into the third quarter, it was 28-10. But
I was like not paying as close attention to the game because I was like, "Oh, this is kind of over." So I was kind of like playing on my phone, and then I heard the interception happen, and then I looked up and then watched it, and I was like, "Oh no!" Mm-hmm. And then it happened again, and then it happened again. Mm-hmm. 3 interceptions.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I mean, we look at the stats, and really, Tom Brady didn't even play that well. He had
not really.
20-36, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And Aaron Rodgers, outplayed him really, 33 of 48, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. But it just wasn't enough to get it done, because we just saw what we thought we might see is the Tampa Bay defense dominate. Yeah. And we had said last week that if Tampa Bay's defense did very well and they went against Green Bay, then we would see Green Bay probably lose the game. Yeah. Because Tampa was just a little bit better at defense and better at offense.
Yeah, bro, Devin White went off. He had 9 solo tackles, 15 total tackles. Dude was just on fire. They came to play. It was nuts. That's why, it's pretty incredible that they won with Tom Brady throwing 3 interceptions. That's just how good the defense was playing. They were playing good enough to allow Tom Brady to make mistakes, which is exactly what he needs right now, because he's making these mistakes that he might not have made previously in his career. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he's still incredible. I'm not saying this is trying to necessarily knock him, but the defense is definitely helping carry him to where he is. So that defense in the Super Bowl is really going to have to, I think, play as well as they did here. Because, it could be a shootout, but I feel like it's going to come down to the defense, and it's going to come down to how many times they can stop Mahomes and how many times Brady can get down the field and not, have any turnovers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. I think that with that game, really the Bucs is, once again, how good is their defense going to be? If their defense can affect Patrick Mahomes and get him out of the pocket more, especially since even though Patrick Mahomes is going to have another week of healing, he still has that problem with the turf toe. It's not 100% healed, and it won't be by the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So
he's going to be a little bit less mobile than he would be. So if they can get to him, they might be able to get some more sacks.
Devin White is a very fast linebacker, and they've literally just played almost a Patrick Mahomes-ish quarterback. Really, I'm not saying that not comparing Aaron
I mean,
Rodgers
Aaron
or Patrick
Rodgers is
Mahomes,
really
but
good, and
he's, I mean, about as close as you would get to a Patrick Mahomes with the mobility and the ability to throw from anywhere, and
they give him a lot of problems.
So I really think that if they can give Aaron Rodgers problems, I think they can give anyone problems.
But here's the thing with the Chiefs, they have a bit more weapons with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. I mean, they kind of use everyone. Mecole Hardman, like all of these.
If Sammy Watkins is healthy,
yeah, Sammy Watkins can play, and then they got, I mean, Clyde or Le'Veon if they play. You know, who depending on who's healthy. But so they have a lot more weapons, I feel like, than the Packers have. So they might give them a little bit more problems, but at the same time, I feel like Tampa Bay's defense is just playing at a great level right now. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Like, that's why I feel like it could really go either way, because if Tampa Bay's defense holds well enough, I mean, Tom Brady can do enough to win the game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing the old, like, legend against, like, the new up-and-coming, like, legend, and just these two, especially... Man, if Tom Brady were to win this is the way for him to go out. Like, the first home Super Bowl, and him beating Patrick Mahomes, like, the new best up-and-coming quarterback. Like, that's just, like, the way I feel like to just go out. Going into your 10th Super Bowl, like, crazy. You gotta just, like, respect the stats. It's just crazy.
Really? He's had an incredible career, and if he does retire after this game, especially if with a win, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is this is really genuinely a 50-50 coin toss game. Yeah. I don't really think that there's a favorite, really. I mean, I would say that I would maybe give Kansas City the favorites just because of how hot they are coming in and how good their defense played, and they really looked like they were kind of coasting, in my opinion, in the Bills game at times. So I could see them as the favorite, but I don't know. I kind of like Tampa Bay in the game. I don't know though. This should be one of the closer Super Bowls we've probably seen in recent history. So I don't know though. I kind of like Tampa Bay. I think that Tom Brady gives a real push to just be as great as he can be.
Yeah.
And he doesn't turn the ball over as much as he did in this game against Green Bay, and I think that gets them the win.
So you're picking Tampa?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm going to pick Kansas City because I just feel like the big determining factor here is going to be who turns the ball over less, and I know you can't bet against Tom Brady. It's one of the biggest sins in sports, but I just...
Can you bet against Patrick Mahomes?
That's the thing, and I feel like if it comes down to who turns the ball over less, I'm probably going to choose Patrick Mahomes right now because, I mean, you just saw Tom Brady throw 3 interceptions against the Packers, and, I mean, the Chiefs' defense is better than what it used to be, so, I mean, they can give him, some problems, especially if they put any pressure on him, he'll go down immediately. Patrick Mahomes is a bit more mobile and can kind of get out of stuff, even if he does have turf toe.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's just more potential with the Chiefs, and just I think Patrick Mahomes, I don't know how I see him losing this. I think he's just so good, and they just have so many weapons. I think the Buccaneers will put up a fight, and Tom Brady will try to do everything he can. I can see him maybe doing like a critical turnover or something, because I mean, let's face it, they probably should have lost that game against the Packers if it hadn't been for some fortunate play calling and stuff. And I mean, I'm sorry, if it hadn't been for some fortunate referee calling, like, penalties, and if the defense just didn't play at an incredible level. So can they play like that against the Chiefs? I don't know. So like you said, it's kind of a 50-50, and I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl. At first, when I saw that it was this, I was kind of bummed because I was like, oh, Packers Chiefs would have been cool. And then I was like, nah, this is actually really cool because Tom Brady against Patrick Mahomes is going to be great. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but I think it'll be a really fun, close game.
Yeah, I'm excited. Next week will be interesting because, like we were saying, with the Pro Bowl not being around, but it'll be a good week of football when we do get to the Super Bowl, and especially with the limited fans that'll be there.
I think I heard that each team gets 4 fans to choose, and then the rest are kind of being filled in from the Florida area.
Nice.
And it'll be interesting to see the Super Bowl week because, usually there's so many meetings and everything, but this year it'll be all virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even getting there. And, like, the Chiefs won't even get there until, I think, 2 days before the Super Bowl or the day before the Super Bowl. So it's going to be really weird to see, like, the media week because it's going to be so
Not
different.
at all normal.
Exactly.
But yeah, we can move into the Ravens segment actually.
Yeah.
And we kind of wanted to do something. I was gonna ask Josh a question. I only have one question though, but still,
right.
My question is, what is the Ravens' number one need in the first round of the draft?
Offensive lineman.
Okay.
I want a center.
Okay.
Yeah, our line's just so bad. If whatever offensive lineman is there that's worth a first round pick, I think we should just hop on that. The thing is, Harbaugh is obviously not trying to get a great passing game, and what I mean by that is he's not looking to make this team just a great passing team. He's committed to the run and committed to just becoming the best at this team, like at this identity, this run first thing. So I mean, he even said like he's not going to be begging like number one receivers to come, stuff like that. So I feel like if that's truly what he wants, then we got to get a lineman because like our offense doesn't work without a great line. And obviously we'll have Ronnie Stanley back, but we lost Marshall Yanda. We lost like Ryan Jensen. Like, I mean, over the past few years, there's just like we just need a little bit more help in that area, and I think that alignment would be incredible. And then probably I would love to get like a wide receiver. What about you?
My number one need.
Defensive lineman wouldn't be bad either. Losing Matt Judon and whatnot.
Yeah, probably. Probably an outside linebacker. It depends on if we wind up keeping Judon or Ngakoue. I would think we might wind up trying to keep one of them, but
I could see Ngakoue maybe.
With the reports that Matt Judon wants upward of $20 million, that's definitely not going to happen for us. But with Ngakoue, maybe he takes a little bit less. I'm not sure. But we also do have to worry about Orlando Brown Jr., which is coming up soon, and if we want to try to re-sign him. But I'd probably say linebacker just because of the fact, outside linebacker or edge rusher just because of the fact that we have to pay Orlando Brown Jr.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, spread the wealth a little bit more since we already have Orlando Brown and Ronnie Stanley comes back next year. And Ronnie Stanley coming back will really solidify the line.
Yeah.
So I think that the Ravens could probably find a center a little bit later in the draft, maybe next year, and just try to put that as a second or third need. Safety I could see just because of the fact that we might want more depth there because all of our safeties are 6th and 7th round picks.
Yeah,
that's all of our safeties. But Deshaun Elliott, Deshaun Elliott played very well this year considering. So and Chuck Clark hasn't been bad either. So we don't absolutely need somebody at safety with both of them coming back, and they're both very low cap space hits, and so it's not really that bad. But we also I'd say the edge rushing outside linebacker position is probably the only absolute need for the Ravens on defense. We don't need cornerbacks. We don't really need safeties, but it's never bad to stock up. But edge rusher is definitely a place that I could see us even trading up for, which isn't a custom of the Ravens. But I could see it if there's somebody there that they like enough, because Eric DeCosta never is against anything.
Oh yeah.
But we definitely need linemen. But Ronnie Stanley coming back, I really think will help us a lot at the line.
Yeah, definitely. He's an elite talent that was very missed this year.
Definitely. He would have definitely helped the line when it was as poor as it was.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been nearly as bad. I feel like I feel like he kind of elevates those around him.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
So one thing, since we're also still in the Ravens segment, we can shout out Morgan Cox because we already found out that he's not going to be with the team next year because
I don't fully understand this move.
Nick Moore. It's primarily, I think, because of just age. Morgan Cox is 35 or 36, and the other guy is only 27, I think, or 28. So, I mean, it's just so younger, and, I mean, it's not really a cap decision because of $1.1 million of Morgan Cox, but it makes sense because he probably would go somewhere else if he wasn't staying with us. Yeah. So, and Morgan Cox he's older,
Yeah.
So, I thought it made sense, but it's just sad to see one of the members of the Wolfpack go.
It's so sad. They've been together for so long.
Mm-hmm. And we know that Sam Cook will eventually his time will be there because he's not getting any younger. But still, it's nice to thank you, Morgan Cox, for all those great years of snapping.
Truly an elite talent at his position. You never had to worry about any kind of bad snaps or anything like that from him. He was great.
And I don't think that we'll have any problems with the next guy because it doesn't seem like the Ravens would be the team to just throw in a mediocre, not as good as Morgan Cox snappers. So
sure.
I like our chances next year at that position. That's our number one position of non-need.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, so that's kind of like the Ravens' needs. So I think that pretty much covers everything that we're going to go over today. It was a bit of a shorter episode, a little bit less to cover. We'll probably talk maybe like hot topics like next week. Maybe like Deshaun Watson, Matt Stafford, all that fun stuff.
Maybe even do some draft stuff eventually.
Yeah, get into some draft stuff. So there's a lot to look forward to in the future and in the next upcoming weeks. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and be sure to check us out on Patreon, check out the tiers, check us out on YouTube, whatever you guys want to do. But thanks for listening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We're basically almost finished the season. It's crazy. It felt like we almost just started, but I'm glad that we were able to do this podcast and get it out to the people that listen.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate you.
But thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.